All right, what's up, wrestling fans? Welcome to GWR Live here Thursday, July 14th. We got a big show for you today. I'm joined by Tony Gonzalez as usual. How you doing today, Dad?
Doing pretty good.
And we also have a special guest, a guy I've been trying to get on here for a while, just with scheduling and stuff, and been a little hard, but finally getting it done and getting it done right before the wrestling promotion that he's the voice of has a big show this Saturday. He also hosts the SWS podcast, Shootin with Shane. No other than Shane Timmons. How you doing, brother?
Brother, I'm doing good, man. Thank you guys for having me on, man. Beautiful day.
Hey, like I said, we've been talking about getting together and doing it, having you on for a while, and just haven't been able to get it done. But hey, today's
Yeah,
a
man.
perfect day for it. You just got some good news medically, so hey,
I
good
did.
day to have a conversation.
I think so. Yeah, man. Yeah, like you said, brother. Like we've been trying to get me on this show, and I want to get you on mine and whatnot. But like I said, with schedules and stuff, trying to line up. But yeah, man. If you don't mind, I just want to say really quick, live, man. For the people who've been checking in on me the last few months, thank you guys so much for your comments, your prayers, your vibes, your concerns. Officially today, gentlemen, I did get the phone call that yes, SWS is blood clot free. So I did beat the blood clot. So I'm pretty happy about that.
We have Marcus Fine says hello. Kelly
What up,
Fine
Marcus?
says,
Sweet brother.
Kelly Fine says hello. So we're joined by the Fines. Some great wrestling fans. You see them about every show you go to.
I've always said Marcus Fine is like the wrestling fan god, like every day.
I know you're the. Well, let's talk about your podcast first, then we'll get into the wrestling.
Okay.
How long you been doing the Shootin with Shane, the SWS?
It's
What
2
got
years.
you? And what got you into podcasting?
Originally, I was I'm a former musician, and the band that I was playing in at the time, unfortunately, things ended, and I just I love pro wrestling, and I always told everybody around that would listen that I just always wanted to do a pro wrestling podcast, and came up with an idea. I got with another musician friend of mine. Shout out to Jeff Einstein from Filth and Majesty. I got with him, and he was actually my first episode. So, yeah, man, I just wanted. It was just something I always wanted to do, and I never had the time to do it. Unfortunately, playing music and stuff like that. So, when the band ended, I was able to free up a lot of time. So, I was able to finally open up shop, man, and just do it. And I've been having a blast with it.
What band was you in?
It was a band called Outside Shot.
Outside Shop. I was trying to wonder.
Yeah.
I thought maybe I might have seen you. I love going to watching live music. I know a buddy of mine knows you, Austin McCourt.
Yeah, I know Austin.
He's a pretty good drummer. I went and watched this man play a couple weeks ago, and he said, "Man, I see you and Shane on there doing podcasts all the time." I said, "Yeah, I said one of us is always live."
Always, man. Always doing something, man. Like you have to, man. It just keeps us busy,
But I knew you played in some bands, but I wasn't sure if I'd ever got to see you live or not. So you don't play in no bands right now or anything?
No, man. I'm officially retired, man. I've done it since I was 15, 16 years old, and I'm almost 40. So it got to a point where I was just kind of like, all right, man, it's on to a new book. Like anybody can write a new chapter, but I'd rather in that book and start a whole new book. So SWS is just kind of where I wanted to go with it, I think. And yeah, I was just very humbled, man, by the fact that I was able to start something, with 3 letters, and, people just kind of jumped on board with it and been very supportive. And I've always said I have the best fans in the world because I do, what I mean? I'm just humbled by it all, man. I really am.
What instrument did you play?
I was vocalist.
You're a vocalist? Okay.
Yeah. I was a front man / vocalist. Yeah. So.
All right. We also have Damian DeVille in here. He said, "What's up?"
My good brother. What's up, brother? Too sweet, man. Saturday. Sorry, bro. I got to put friendships aside, and I got to put brotherhood aside. I got put in a spot, so I got to call it right down the middle, and that's what I'm going to do.
All right, go ahead, Dad.
Oh, I'm just listening. I did have a question. I kind of figured, but what kind of music did you play?
With Outside Shot, it was we were all different genres at that time, and I think we all just kind of came together, and we just, man, we had stuff, everything from we were all very 50s influenced. punk rock influence, heavy metal influenced. I'm really big into classic country. Like Hank Williams is my all-time favorite performer. Waylon Jennings is another favorite performer of mine. It's hard to choose between the two. So I got to mix a lot of blues and a lot of country into it. So, but genre-wise, we couldn't really come up with what we were. So we just called ourselves Midwest whiskey rock. We were influenced by just so many things. I think that, at that time we'd all been in so many bands that we had grown as musicians do. And then going into a whole new atmosphere like that with new guys, guys that you knew, through other bands and stuff. But we just kind of we were like, hey, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. And we just kind of threw it all in a big pot, stirred it up, and see what we got.
That's pretty cool.
Thank you.
Also got Christian Cash in here. Says, hey, guys.
Christian, what's up, brother? Like I told Damien, Saturday I'll see you right down the middle.
Eddie Rodriguez, good afternoon, brother. Good afternoon to you, Eddie. Thanks for joining us. How'd you become the voice of AACW?
Damien DeVille and I go way back. This means something to him and I. When we throw that up, that means something. And we've been doing that since we was kids, NWO and stuff like that, the clique back in WWF days and things. And we just kind of adapted to that and, created our own clique with a group of guys that we were really tight with. And yeah, long story short, I always wanted to see Damien wrestle, man. But again, I was so busy with music and everything else going on. And one day I just had a free Saturday and Damien hit me up. He was like, hey, bro, you should come check me out. I'm going to be in Kokomo. I know you got, some in-laws and stuff over there. So maybe you can come over and check it out. And I said, yeah, man, I'll definitely come over and check it out. So I went over, walked in the locker room, talked to the boys and stuff, got to hug Damien and stuff. I hadn't seen him in about a year at that time with our schedules. And I was just sitting in the crowd, man, and I was just blown away by how good AACW professional wrestling was. And funny story, I remember meeting Shane after that first show. And he had come over and he introduced himself and he was like, man, dude, hey, thanks for, getting the crowd into it and everything. And I was like, hey, man, I love pro wrestling. So if it's good, I'm going to do what I got to do, and do what I feel I need to do, and yeah, we talked. And then we actually found out that he found out my name was Shane. And then we found out both our middle names were Eugene. So we kind of have this ongoing joke with Shane and I about, 2/3 the same name. So, but yeah, man, one night I was sitting there and I just kept coming to the shows, man, because I just started becoming friends with the boys and the action really was high packed. And, I don't just say AACW is amazing because, I work for the company. I didn't work for the company at that time. And I still said that. And I just started bringing some people on the show. And next thing I know, I get this text from Shane. See, I feel like Shane and I don't sleep much. So he texted me one night early in the morning. It was like, hey, bro, you should put some thought into maybe doing something with the company. And I said, well, what do you think? And he just said, hey, kind of want to make you the voice of the company. And I said, well, hey, sign me up, man. I'm always down to work for a good company like this and whatnot. So yeah, again, I'm super humbled by it. It's been a really cool experience so far.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because me and Dad are both, Dad especially, but we've always been big wrestling fans. Well, DCCW here in Muncie gave us our first chance to do the live commentary and live stream a show. Well, then we were planning on going to watch a show on this Friday night or on a Saturday night just to watch here in town as another promotion here in Muncie. We was going to go just watch, check it out. Well, we get a phone call that Friday night. It was Mike King.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike King goes, hey, you guys want to go to Kokomo with me tomorrow and you guys bring all your stuff? And I'm like, yeah, sure, we'll go. And we went. That was our first time. That was last November. It was our first time.
Yeah.
It was our first time seeing AACW. And that was our second promotion doing a live stream for it. And dude, the crowd is just great. Kokomo has one of the rowdiest crowds you're going to find.
Absolutely.
Great wrestling crowd. If one of the wrestlers clap, the whole damn building's going to clap.
Yeah. I mean,
the show, it's awesome. And at that building they were at back in November, it was a smaller
the original building. Yeah.
I mean, they couldn't even get up on the top rope.
Mm-mm.
And that place was standing room only. Crowd was in it the whole time. We loved it. And unfortunately, the first couple events AACW had this year were on the same dates as DCCW that Mike King runs. And that's kind of if they have a show, that's where we're at. So then we were able to come last month to AACW and we loved it again. and we're excited that we're going to be able to be back this Saturday for it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, like I love every time you guys show up. And actually, funny story, the night that you guys were there, the first night, that was I was actually able to watch it because that was the first one that unfortunately I was that I actually missed. So Damien actually texted me and he said, "Hey, Gonzo Sports Room's doing the live for AACW tonight, so you'll actually be able to like still check it out." So thank you guys for doing what you guys do, man, and giving guys that guys and girls who maybe don't live in this area a chance to see good professional independent wrestling and stuff, because that's very important. I mean, that's these guys work their butts off, and guys and girls in other companies.
Yep. I have a few comments here real quick. Christian Cass said, ask Shane how he's going to feel counting the 3 for me and not his brother.
Well, like I told Christian before, I know this match has a lot of high stakes. Obviously, like I did on the exclusive, if Christian wins, if Christian beats my brother Damien, he's gonna go on to trial match number 3. If Damien wins, he gets number one contendership for the world title in the future. Like I've told everybody, man, Justin, he put me in a spot, and unfortunately, I'm gonna have to do what I got to do, and I've made it very clear that I'm going to call it right down the middle. And, if I have to count DeVille's shoulders down 1, 2, 3, then that's what I'm going to do. And same goes for Christian, unfortunately. If his shoulders hit that mat, I'm counting, So like I've always said, may the best man win. I have to do what's right for the company. I have to do what's right, by me, and I have to do what's right by both those guys. Damien's my good brother and Christian's a good friend of mine. And we've gotten close lately, but unfortunately, I got to do what I got to do.
Justin Tyrell says, "Oh God." Tanner Broussard says, "What's up, Kelly Club?" in the chat.
Kelly Club, what up, too, sweet kid?
Christian Cass said, "Welp, the fun is run." Hacksack Justin is in here.
Hitting that the truth. Feel like Justin's just obsessed with anything my name's on.
And Damien says more like raising his brother's hand in victory. Got Jordan Raider is in here. Marcus Fine says the Kokomo's the wildest crowd ever.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more.
I agree. Hey, all the places we go have great fans, but out of all the places that we went and live stream, Kokomo is definitely the wildest crowd that we've seen.
It's definitely a different atmosphere for sure. Once the show starts, man, I mean, it's a whole different vibe.
Travis Southern says right down the middle, laughing out loud.
That's right. Right down the middle. Right down the middle.
Shane, I'm gonna put you on the spot a little bit.
Yeah.
I know you're gonna call it down the middle, and I believe you. But just in your hearts of hearts, you've seen both these guys wrestle a lot. Who if you had to put a favorite on it going in, just who would you think would be the favorite?
To be honest, and that's all I can do, and I'm telling the fans again, I'm going to call it right down the middle. But to be honest, I've dubbed Christian Cash the savior of AACW. I think he's going to save us from the Golden Prophecy. I think he's going to save us from Justin Terrell's heinous reign. But at the end, I got to go my good brother, Damien DeVille. I mean, if I had to pick, nothing against Christian wanting to win the championship, but it's nothing like seeing one of your brothers, hand raised in victory, no matter what that victory is, especially if it gives them an opportunity to be a world heavyweight champion in some class, So no disrespect to Christian, much love to him. I'm going to call it again fair. I'm going to call what I see. And like I've always said, may the best man win. But to answer your question, Tony, I got to go my brother, Damien DeVille.
It's going to be a real interesting matchup and a fun match because DeVille definitely has the experience, but then you have Cash with the youth and the upcoming guy that I think has a whole lot of potential. So it's going to be a real good match. I think I'm excited for it this Saturday.
You got two guys that just want it, and I think that's what's going to make a phenomenal match is they both have something to fight for. And, you know, the end goal is to be the world heavyweight champion, no matter where you're at, whether it's basketball or baseball or football or, you know, hockey, whatever, like, or pro wrestling. Like, you want to be the best in the world. You want to be the world's champion at the end of the day. So, and again, I wish them both the best.
Yeah. Shane, how did you become a wrestling fan? Did you become a fan back when you was a kid, or?
I did, yeah. Actually, the very first, I remember watching my dad. Like, this is back in like VCR days and stuff, and I remember my dad watching like NWA, and he wasn't a big Ric Flair fan just because at that time, you know, Dusty was the working man, so all the working men liked Dusty, and they didn't like Flair because, you know, he had the jewelry and the girls and the money and, you know, all that. But yeah, I remember watching Flair and Dusty a lot in my household. I remember. My dad having old VHS tapes when I was like 5, 6, 7-ish, you know what I mean? And I remember watching, you know, when Dusty won the NWA World Heavyweight Championship off Flair. And I really got into it. It was just like really cool to watch. And then the match that actually like made me an official fan was WrestleMania 6, title for title, Hogan versus Warrior. I never really was like that. Like, I wouldn't claim to be a Hulkamaniac, you know, but I did like Hogan, but I loved Warrior. So it was just, that was like the two biggest stars at that time, you know, competing for one common goal, which was to be the best. And yeah, like once I saw that, I just dove in. Like, pro wrestling just became everything at that point. Like, I just couldn't get enough of it. I'd go through and watch all my dad's tapes, and every time, you know, I remember watching WCW Saturday Night Live on TBS, 6:05 Eastern Time. You know, it's crazy how you remember that. Like, but I just couldn't wait to sit there and watch guys like Dustin Rhodes, the Natural, and, you know, Flying Brian Pillman and Stunning Steve Austin and guys like that. You know, and Barry Windham was another huge guy that I loved a lot. But yeah, like WCW, I was more WCW. I didn't become WW. Like, I watched them both, but I was more WCW because my dad was. You know what I mean? Like, he liked WCW a little bit more than what WWF was putting out at the time. But I mean, we definitely, like in our household, we watched both products. But yeah, I was definitely WCW at that time.
Well, that's cool, because that's how I became a fan of wrestling too, was with my dad, because Dad's been watching it forever, and he'd have VCR tapes. We had wrestling magazines. I think me and my brother had every wrestling figure that ever came out back.
Yeah.
And then my son, he has about every one. He still has them all. He has a bunch of them.
That's how my kid is too, man. And like,
what's cool about wrestling, though, it's something that families can do together, because there's something for everybody in wrestling. But,
and that's what I love about AACW too. You know, is like, I tell anybody who hasn't been to a show in AACW, like, they're so kid friendly, and it's just like a family environment. And like, you know, like you walk in, I'm actually getting goosebumps talking about it. It's weird. But like, you walk in that building and it's just like, you know, you're going to have a good time. And, you know, those workers, you know, those workers just put the time and effort in for, you know, everybody to be entertained. And, you know, those guys go out there and they step in between those ropes, and they do put their lives on the line, you know. And that's the thing, you know, like, I know people's going to say pro wrestling's this, pro wrestling's that, but at the end of the day, you know, when you walk through that curtain, you know, I've sat down with enough of those guys on SWS here, and, you know, and had their stories told. Like, you don't know when you walk through that curtain if you're going to walk back on your own 2 feet. Yeah.
Dad, Marcus Fight said he's talking our language, Tony. Flair and Dusty.
Flair and Dusty, man.
Yeah, big. Well, to me, and of course I'm old. I'm 59 years old. But for me, the 80s was the best time in wrestling. I know a lot of people would say the Attitude Era, which was very good and probably made more money. Definitely made more money than the 80s. But I think the 80s, because NWA was so good and WWE was pretty good. To me, that was the best time in wrestling. But not putting down the Attitude Era or any other era. I mean, I love it all. So I mean, I watch wrestling every day of the week. So
same.
so I love it.
Yeah, he don't miss a show. He watches all the TV shows.
That's how I am, man. Like, I mean, like, I have my favorites and stuff. You know, like, I'm a huge AEW guy, but then that kind of goes back to they give me that WCW feel. You know. And, you know, I'm a huge Bullet Club fan. I love everything that Bullet Club does. So it's kind of nice. And then, like, I love New Japan Pro Wrestling. I got into that years ago, like, even like way before Bullet Club, you know, even like put them on the map in a way, I guess. But like, I just remember watching Big Van Vader over there, you know, winning the IWGP tag titles with Bam Bam Bigelow. And, you know, even on my wrestling games that I play, I always make dream teams, and Bam Bam and Vader is just one of those teams that I make.
Two of the best big guys ever.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've always said that Bam Bam is arguably the greatest big man of all time. Like, the man did things for his size and his weight capacity that he shouldn't have been doing in that ring. But and he did it fluently too. It wasn't like he did something once and was just like, I'm
what
done.
the hell? Who the hell is James Sullivan? You can get out of this chat with that shit, dude. Come on now. But anyway, I was gonna say, you mentioned the Bullet Club.
Mhm.
We got to meet Luke Gallows.
Yes.
I'll tell you what, dude. He was one of the coolest dudes. Man, dude is an awesome guy.
Yeah, dude. Like, he just seems like he's super laid back and chill. Like, it's just crazy when you get to meet some of these guys, man, and like just how cool they are. Like, I remember, being at an event at the SummerSlam Heatwave Tour, and like Rollins and Becky Lynch, obviously they were together at the time, and they both come over and talked to me, and I got a photo with them and stuff, and I just thought that was really cool that they just took the time, and they really did. Like, they took the time to go all the way around the barricade, and all the fans, bombarded the barricades, and they took time just to take pictures and sign stuff, and that was really cool, because without the fans, you're not going to be there. So
yeah. What was cool about Gallows was that we seen him at a fundraising event for a little boy. And it was kind of a last second thing. Mike King got a hold of him, and he didn't get paid any money, took his time and spent a lot of time with this young little boy. And I mean, I always liked Gallows, but I wasn't a huge Gallows fan. But after meeting him and seeing what he did for that kid and for that family, and on a last second thing, I was just blown away. It was fantastic.
And again, it just kind of goes back to like you guys were saying earlier, to piggyback off that, like, pro wrestling is just a different sport. You know what I mean? Like, it's so family oriented, and I don't know. It's just a different vibe when you're in there with your soda pop and your bag of popcorn, and you're able to watch these superheroes, to kids. You know what I mean? Like there's I don't know. Have you guys seen that icon? I call it an iconic photo because to me it is. Like, it was just so heartwarming and so special. Did you guys see the photo where the little boy was actually helping up Tanner Kelly, and I believe I'm trying to think who else was there. I'm trying to think who else he was helping up. I think it was Shaw. But it was just so cool to like see this little boy helping up his heroes. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that was like a photo. I know Ricky Guns and I were just talking last night about that photo, and it just to see that photo again pop up, and it was just like, man, that's really cool, because like, I don't know, man, like those kids look at these guys as like they're superheroes, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, Dad, Marcus Fine also said, speaking of the 80s, Flair versus Harley Race.
Yeah.
And Damian DeVille said Golden Era 80s #1.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, Harley Race was probably everybody speaks very highly of him, in the ring, but they also say that a lot of the boys said he was probably one of the toughest men that ever walked the earth.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, I mean, he put that vibe off, though. Like, Harley Race wasn't that guy you wanted to mess with, I felt like, at a bar or at a hotel or a nightclub or in the back or.
Yeah.
What's Damien saying over here? Me laugh out loud?
Yeah. I'm not sure what he was talking about. But yeah, so what other matches are you looking forward to for this weekend?
Oh man, I know when I do exclusive, I always say, "Hey, this is the biggest AACW show of all time." But like, it's just that's the thing. Like, I do mean that from the bottom of my heart. I'm not just saying it. Like, this show is huge. I mean, there's so many things going on. That's good. That could possibly. There's so many different things that could change an outcome of the landscape. But one match that I'm very invested in. A couple of good brothers of mine. I've become really tight with these guys lately. Bulletproof Posse, King Chaos, Chris Chaos, and my boy Ricky Most Wanted Guns. I'm pulling for him, man. I am. I'm pulling for him. Obviously, I'm not a fan of the Golden Prophecy. You know what I mean? Obviously, I have my reasons why. But, these guys are thugs that I want to hug. You know what I mean? And these guys have been good to me. They actually took over my set one day. Thanks a lot, Justin. But, yeah, man, I'm definitely looking forward to them. I'd really like to see them win the straps. I think the match that I'm looking most forward to is Adam Rain versus Chad Cross. That match is going to be fun. I think these two guys are on a collision course, and it's going to be nice to finally see them in the ring across from each other. So I'm actually looking really forward to Chad Cross and Adam Rain. And I have my picks, you know what I mean, but
yeah. Damon DeVille said the kid helping guys up. He was one of the guys that the kids was helping up.
Yeah, see, exactly, man. And like that photo was just so cool. Like, that's something that, like, it's like a poster, you know what I mean? Like,
Marcus Fine said he's the Bulletproof Posse's #1 fan.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Gotta love BPP.
Yep.
Good dudes right there, man. Good dudes. Like I said, they've had my back. I've got theirs. Obviously, it's no secret that that I do talk to BPP, and I do,
You got a score to settle with the Golden Prophecy there.
I do. And I haven't forgotten about that. I've been going on record saying those guys are cowards, and nothing's going to change my mind on that. I think with Golden Prophecy, I think it's all amazing talent. I think Travis Southern's being used for his knowledge. I personally think Travis should just see the light, stop drinking the Kool-Aid from the same cup that they're all passing around. I think Justin, you can't argue with the guy's accolades. 4-time AACW World Heavyweight Champion, the only AACW Grand Slam champion. You can't argue with his accolades. I think he's just kind of messed up in his head right now. I think he's gotten in so deep in his own brain that I think he thinks that, like, he's God or something, you know what I mean? And, do what you got to do, man. But, you turned your back on a lot of people, man, that supported you, Christian being one of them. But he's making enemies faster than he's making friends. I'm just saying, like, the guy's making enemies pretty quickly. Like,
Travis Southern said, going on record, but we'll never say it to our face in person.
Well, I mean, to Travis, a lot of people have been saying lately that SWS has gotten a little more ballsy, I guess you could say, after that kick that apparently knocked the screw loose. That's what's been going around. I personally don't think a screw was knocked loose. I think the betrayal from Justin, I think it just kind of made sense in my mind that it's kind of like DTA. Don't trust anybody unless you can. And I know who I can trust and who I can't. And, I'm going to go on record and just say that, hey, Christian Cash or Damian DeVille is going to take Justin down. And I just hope that I'm still sitting there and able to sit there to watch it because, I got to watch my back, But that's why I got Bulletproof Posse. That's why I got Christian. That's why I got DeVille. That's why I got my son, Tanner Kelly,
Travis Southern says, come on, shoot with shade. I thought you were better than that.
Travis, I thought you were better than that, brother. I thought you was better than that. I personally think, that you're just sipping that Kool-Aid a little too much. And, I think I don't even know why you're even with those guys. Man, those guys are cowards. You're not a coward, Travis.
I thought Travis Southern was more of a leader. Now he's become pretty much a follower.
Yep. Couldn't have said it any better myself, Tony.
I mean, I don't know him real well, but compared to what I seen back in November at that show, he seemed like a leader. And then I come, to this last show, and he seemed nothing but a follower to me. So,
yeah,
it's going by what I've seen.
And that's what happens when they start sharing the same Kool-Aid cup, man. It's just Justin's in everybody's mind now. Like he tries to get in mine. Justin thinks that he's in my head, but he's not in my head. Like everybody thinks that Justin is living rent-free up there, but he's not. You know what I mean? Like, I know what Justin's doing to me, and I'm just going to do what I got to do. Justin's going to keep coming, and I'm just going to keep pushing forward. Same with all the Golden Prophecy. Like, I think I've made it very clear. I'm not afraid of these guys. Like, I got, I can stand up, but I got guys, just like DeVille. I got Cash. I got my son, Tanner Kelly. I got all Bulletproof Posse, like.
Chris Chaos says, what's up, Shane?
What up, good brother? Much love. Good seeing you yesterday.
Damon DeVille said, accurate, Tony. Dad, what match are you looking forward to Saturday? You're like me. You always look forward to going back to Kokomo for AACW show.
I'm looking forward to the tag team match by the most. I'm real interested in that. Well, there's 2 or 3 matches, but I'm gonna say that by just a little bit is the tag match.
Yeah, because Kokomo, it really is. It's one of the shows that we always try to when we know we like to know when the dates are because we always try to get there if we can. And so we was real glad we were going to be able to be there again this month, and hoping that it works out that we'll be able to be there at the rest of the shows.
Yeah, for sure. Because like I said, man, going back to what I said earlier, I love when you guys show up, man. It just kind of changes the game a little bit, and I think all the boys agree too. It just changes the game when you guys are there. Like it's just nice to see you guys set up and just know that again, it goes back to what I said. There's so many wrestling fans out there, and there's so many people that want to come to AACW, but unfortunately, they either don't have the money because the gas prices are obviously ridiculously high, or the cost of living right now is so high, but or they live too far away. But guys like you, Chris and Tony, like you guys give the wrestling fans, an option to be able to still watch AACW professional wrestling, and I think that's really, really cool.
And just for people that maybe haven't seen our post on Facebook, tonight at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, we're going to re-air last month's AACW show.
Yep.
So that way, if you guys want to watch tonight's show, they'll give you kind of a feel of the storylines and stuff going into this Saturday. And plus, if you haven't seen AACW before, it gives you a chance to watch it. You might watch it, like it, and want to go watch it live Saturday in Kokomo, Indiana. So tonight at 8:30, live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch at Gonzo Sports Room. We're going to air last month's AACW show.
And again, man, it's a hell of a product. It really is.
Yeah, I thought, hey, we'll go ahead and air it that way. If people haven't seen it, or people that new people might see it and become a fan of it. So
catch them up to speed, going into Saturday, because again, Saturday is a huge, huge event. I mean, this is arguably one of the biggest events I think they've done. I was going to re-air it Friday, but we're going to be busy Friday. I was going to be out, not going to be around, so I said I'll do it Thursday. When Thursday, actually, after I thought about it, is a better day because there's no wrestling on. Exactly. So it's like, hey, if you want to watch something, then there you go. Like,
yeah, when I tell people about AACW, I tell them what I like about it the most. To me, it's really old school. It gives me a more, and I'm not putting any other promotions, because we go through a lot of promotions and I love all of them. But AACW really gives me that old school feel, probably a little bit more than the other ones do. And I'm not saying that's a good thing or a bad thing, just that I'm older, so I kind of like the old school feel, and it's also, I think, something makes your product different than some of the other products, because you won't be the same as everybody. I mean,
and that's the thing too. Yeah, I totally agree. I think that's kind of like what drew me into AACW a little bit more than other companies. And again, it's not putting those other companies down. Like they're still good companies. It's just I like what I like, just like you like what you like, and we kind of get a certain feel off of this. And to me, it's just it just kind of goes back to like the old school, ways of pro wrestling. Like the '80s kind of vibe, like early '80s, mid '80s. Like it just kind of has that feel to it.
Yeah, no, I really like it, and I like Shane. Shane's a real good guy.
Good guy, yeah.
I was glad we got to meet him back in November, and then he actually came here to my house and done a show with us. And I
remember watching that one. Yeah,
we all went out to eat together and stuff. So I like Shane. He's a good dude. We've had him back on the show. It's always nice. It's always nice going back down or up to Kokomo and getting to see all you guys.
Yeah, for sure, man. And like I said, going back to what I said earlier, like I know all the boys would agree too. Like we love when you and Tony come out, man, and set up and just kind of hang out and everything. Because again, it just goes back to what I said about giving just an outlet to people who maybe can't come to the show or watch the show.
Justin said, "Oh God, you guys are poisoned by hog as well."
This guy.
Hey, old Hall came on here and gave us some shit because we gave him he said we were big Mike King marks, which we are, but he said you guys gave him a pop like he was a god when he came out that curtain at that show in November.
And I just feel like Justin's the type of guy, like this guy just loves to hear himself talk. You know what I mean? It's like he ain't gonna be doing too much talking when my good brother Damien DeVille, or the savior of AACW professional wrestling, gets their hands on him. So let's see how much talking he does then.
Let me ask
Sorry, Justin. I mean, Justin, that's what it is, man. You made this, Justin. You just kept putting my name in your mouth, and Like, you did this to yourself, and now you got to watch your back. And I hope your boys got your back, because I know DeVille, Cash, and Bulletproof Posse and Kelly Club got mine. So watch your boys, Justin.
Go ahead, Dad.
I want to ask you, and I have an opinion on this, but what do you think's missing from professional wrestling? I'm talking more of the TV product like AAW or WWE or Impact. What do you think an ingredient that's missing? In my opinion, what I really miss is I miss the feuds, the old school feuds that last months and months or years even. And you just don't see that anymore. And I really miss that.
That's I 100% agree. That was going to be my answer too. I know I argue with people sometimes, and then, I'll have conversations with people about that, and they're just like, I totally miss that stuff too. Like, yeah, because, I remember like one of my favorite feuds was like, Shawn Michaels versus Triple H. That lasted years. They had such a long story from DX to, where, accumulated at and everything. And, those guys like that told a story. Shawn and Taker would be another one that obviously accumulated at WrestleMania 26. And I've always went on record and said that arguably, to me, the greatest WrestleMania match of all time will always be WrestleMania 25, Shawn and Taker. That was the first time that I honestly thought the streak was going to end. Like, I thought HBK was the guy that was – I couldn't sit down. I remember being at B-Dubs. That's way back in the day, when they used to do the wrestling shows there. And
we used to go to B-Dubs to watch the shows.
And I just remember everybody was like on the edge of their seat during that match. Like, I was absolutely – exhausted myself. I was exhausted just watching that match, and that again was another good long storytelling feud. I agree, Tony. I just think that doing these 3-week feuds, and then it's like it's over. It's like, well, what did we really get? And then even now, like, Hell in a Cell isn't what it used to be, because like I remember again going back to Shawn and Hunter's feud, part of that ended in Hell in a Cell, because where else are you going to do it at? Like, how else are you going to end this? It's going to be a war. It's going to be a bloodbath. So let's throw them inside this giant structure and let them go at it with absolutely no rules and pure chaos. And now Hell in a Cell, you don't get that vibe no more. Like Elimination Chamber, you don't get that vibe from that anymore. Like,
well, Hell in a Cell, they do a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view now, and you have one Hell in a Cell match on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like my dad says, you might as well do away with the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view and just do a Hell in a Cell match on some of your other pay-per-views.
SummerSlam or something like that.
Because what's the point of calling it Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, like you said, when you're only getting, a women's match and then a man's match? It's like,
Damien DeVille says stories are too rushed these days. Not enough time to invest. Too many pay-per-views.
Absolutely, way too many pay-per-views. And that's what I love about AEW. They only have a handful of pay-per-views, a year, and that gives them time to tell long, good storytelling and being able to put a good product out there for the fans to watch. And I know AEW is really good about doing their free little mini pay-per-views. Like last night was like Fyter Fest Night 1 and stuff. But, again, that's just a way to, keep the product out there and stuff for fans and stuff.
Was that any good last night? I haven't watched any of it yet.
It was pretty decent. Myself and a couple of good brothers, like, we checked it out and everything. We were kind of in and out between conversations and stuff, but we were actually going to go back and watch it either later tonight or tomorrow during supper and stuff. But from what I saw, it was pretty good. I know they're doing Fyter Fest 2, I think, next week. I just seen that Eddie Kingston and the Painmaker Jericho are going to do a barbed wire everywhere match. So I'm kind of curious to see what that's going to be.
Chris K also says everyone is in for a treat Saturday. People get to see what they love, and that's BPP stacking bodies.
It's true.
Marcus Fine says, I agree 100%. That's why I don't watch a lot of WWE.
Same.
Justin says he has a present for you, Shane, tomorrow.
Of course he does. I swear it's like this guy just like – I don't even know what to say about Justin at this point anymore. Like, this guy is like, I can be a pest, you know what I mean? But hey, man, you knocked on my door, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes when you knock on the devil's door, he answers. And, well, here I am, man. And like I said, you're going to have to deal with it. So if your present is another kick to my head, well, it's not going to happen. So, I mean, you already put me in a predicament to, officiate a match where, two of my buddies are in it. So
Hey, Dad, have you watched any of the AEW from last night?
I got to see just a little bit because we ended up going live, and then I had to go to work, so I really haven't seen a whole lot of it. Was good to hear that Swerve Strickland and
Keith Lee.
Keith Lee won the tag team title.
Yep.
So
Took him off the Young Bucks.
I know Dad's a big Keith Lee fan.
Yeah, man. I mean, limitless. Again, another great big guy. For as big as he is, the stuff that he does is phenomenal. And then Swerve Strickland is just, I mean, that guy's a star.
I'm just worried that they put the belts on them to get them on FTR. That's what I'm worried about. So
7-star FTR.
I'm not against. I like FTR. I just hate for the belts had to go on them guys to give it to them. So we'll see what happens.
Justin said you watch that tongue. I'll get a hold of your son.
Justin, I've done told you, man. You want to mess with me? That's fine. You want to play your little twisted sick game with SWS? That's fine. I'll play along. While you're playing chess, I'll be playing checkers, my friend. But my son, Tanner Kelly, has nothing to do with this. I have told you, do not make this personal.
You watch any NXT, Shane?
I do, yeah. I was a huge NXT guy when it originally came out. Not when it was like a game show or whatever, but when the game Triple H took over and made it
Black and Gold
brand. Yeah, I miss that NXT. That felt like a new version of Ring of Honor. They were like a new version of Ring of Honor to me, and then it just. I can't get into the new NXT. Like, I'm not saying the talent's not good. It's just, it's so bright for my liking. Like, I was so used to the black and gold, and like, I like the dark aspect of it. And it just made it feel more like an underground wrestling company, kind of how like Ring of Honor was. And then, obviously WWE had to keep, putting their claws into it. And, I mean, I'm not saying, hey, that's not my company. You run it how you want, but I think as a wrestling fan, I think they've lost a lot of viewers. I know they've lost me. I'll check it out if it's on Tuesday, if I'm, home from work or something and I'm bored or eating supper, like I'll throw it on and check it out because again, the talent's amazing. It's just, I'm just not a fan of like the brightness and the new setup. And it doesn't feel like NXT. And I don't like the 2.0 thing.
I don't like 2.0.
You could have just left it NXT or just renamed it and rebranded. I mean, you pretty much rebranded it. So like, just make it something new. Like, call it WWE Performance Center for all I care, But yeah, doing the whole NXT 2.0, I can't get behind that.
Yeah, you're right. They do got a lot of talent. I think they got some competitors over there. It's going to be that has the potential to be big stars.
Oh, for sure. I mean, like you got Rick Steiner's son over there. He's the current World Heavyweight Champion. They've lost a lot of people.
Rikishi's son over there.
Yeah. And I would like to see him in the bloodline. And that's another thing, too. I never thought I'd be a Roman Reigns fan. But I will say, I will give Roman credit. I think it finally clicked in Roman's head. I think they stopped trying to shove him down our throat enough. And he just kind of, I think it clicked for him. And what he's doing now with the Usos, who is, one of the greatest tag teams of the last 10 years. I love the bloodline, and I never thought I would say anything about Roman Reigns like that because I was always a Moxley, Seth Rollins kind of guy with the Shield.
Once they put Heyman with the man, the ball game changed.
And that's the thing about Heyman too, man. He's that's what he does.
His wrestling mind is just amazing.
Yeah. He'll make you a star if you're not already a star, And that's what I love about Heyman and Punk. I loved Heyman and Punk together because Punk didn't need him to speak for him. He chose Heyman to speak for him. And the way they worked off each other's promos was phenomenal.
And that's why Heyman works so well with Brock as well, because Brock is that big beast, but Brock's not, Brock's a lot better on the mic now than
nowadays. Yeah.
Now I like listening to Brock talk, especially with them always smiling and laughing and shit. It's funny.
Oh, yeah. Like I've seen so many things where he said like he's finally just having fun. You know what I mean? Like he's awesome. Just being him
awesome. Now. I wish he'd been doing it more.
Me too, because this is the best Brock we've gotten ever, in my opinion. I mean, he's country Brock now. I love that.
I love the lumberjack like look and I love all of it.
Yeah, I think this is the best Brock that we've had thus far. And honestly, like if this is one of his last runs, I'm glad that he's able to go out the way he wants and just be himself and have fun because I think, as a pro wrestler, like if your time's coming or whatever, whatever your story is, with your contracts and all that or whatever, like just have fun with it. If you've done it for so many years, like Brock obviously has, have fun, and because like I'm having fun watching him have fun now, like it's entertaining me, like to see this guy just being Brock Lesnar, but dialed up to an 11, as the old saying,
Oh yeah, did you guys see that? I just saw it right before we got on. WWE is now TV 14, not PG anymore.
Yep.
Yeah, Ricky Guns actually is chilling today, and he told me that earlier this morning when we woke up. He was like, "Man, WWE is officially going to TV 14 again," and I was like, "Hey, the PG era, man, it's got to come to an end eventually, right?"
Yeah, one of the sports chat groups I'm in with other big wrestling fans that from another sports network. They messaged me right before we got on and was telling me about it. I was like, "Oh, okay."
I think it'll be good for him too.
And then Damian DeVille says Heyman is doing creative now too, so which should be good. So,
and I'm really glad that they put him back in that position because to piggyback off what Damian said, like I remember, Heyman doing he was doing Raw stuff, I believe, and then he went over to SmackDown, and then for whatever reason they just kind of pulled the plug on him doing whatever he's doing. But like you were saying, Chris, like the guy is just an absolute phenomenal genius when it comes to what he does, and I'll even give the champ credit, Roman, man. I mean, hooking up with Heyman, I think was the best thing for his career right now.
Yeah, right now Roman's probably the biggest star in wrestling. I mean, it'd be hard to argue that. I know it makes some people mad, but I think he is. Just the way he's presented and everything, I think he's the biggest star. Not saying he's necessarily the best wrestler, but I think he's the biggest star.
But I even think even then, like, picking back up what you said, Tony, like with him being the biggest star right now, yeah, I agree because you guys like, Kenny Omega, who's arguably the greatest wrestler in the world right now, he wants to work with Roman before Roman's time's up, So when you got guys, that are doing, 5 to 7 star matches nightly, going 90 plus minutes with guys, because like, that's the thing that people don't understand. You get in that ring 10 minutes. A 10-minute match might feel like a half hour, when you got to get in there and go 90 plus minutes, twice in a row.
Oh yeah.
Guys like Kenny Omega want to face Roman. Obviously Roman's doing something right. If guys like that, like, hey, I want to match with him before he officially retires.
I think they're going to end up doing Roman and The Rock sometime before Roman's done.
I've been looking forward to that. Like, I personally want to see that. I really do because I think
I think it'd be anything with The Rock's going to be awesome, and Roman's good too. So it'll be real good.
It's kind of like who's really the head of the table. You know what I mean? Like,
and I know Stone Cold wants to come back and do something at WrestleMania again. He had a blast at last WrestleMania. He wants to get back in there.
You could tell he was having fun, and honestly, that whole thing was great. I thought we were just going to get the classic Austin, the kick to the gut, the stunner, call today, drink some beer. But him and Owens actually had a really, really solid match.
Dude, I couldn't believe he took a bump outside the ring.
Yeah, the barricade.
And he took that suplex. I couldn't believe
Austin was having a blast.
Some of the bumps Austin took. I was like, damn, what is he doing?
And honestly, I thought the star of the whole WrestleMania weekend, and not taking anything away from any of those other guys, but the star of it was Pat McAfee.
Oh yeah, McAfee. Dude,
I was so invested in that, like, and then Austin was involved in it. Vince was involved in it. Like, Pat McAfee is.
McAfee was laying on the ground, pouring that beer,
still pouring beer down his throat. Yeah, I love Pat, man. When he came in NXT and he wrestled Adam Cole.
Oh man, he was
phenomenal. Awesome. I mean, absolutely phenomenal. I mean, this guy's a former, punt kicker.
He done that leap up to the top rope and into that suplex. That's not easy.
Then he was doing the Panama. He did the Panama City Destroyer.
Yep. Austin KO was outstanding. Marcus Fine says McAfee was great too. But yeah, I'm a big Pat McAfee fan. I watch his show a lot. He's hot right now too, and he just signed a multi-year deal with WWE.
Yeah,
and he does a great job announcing too. He's good. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's great in the ring, but he's great over there in the commentary table with Cole. Him and Cole have got a chemistry together real quick, and I really like them on SmackDown.
Oh yeah, I agree, man. I think Michael Cole, who's a guy who's been there so long,
He don't get the credit he deserves either. I don't think.
no, he really doesn't. I mean, like, I was never really like a Michael Cole fan. Like, to me, he was always that guy that DX picked on. But I mean, the guy's definitely, you know, earned his spot where he is, and you know, he's kind of become. I hate to, you know, use the guy's name to refer him to, but it's no disrespect to JR, but he's kind of become the JR of WWE now. Like, he's kind of like the voice of that company in a way. And I think having Pat sit next to him, the way they laugh and joke and play off of each other, you know, and that's a big thing too with commentary. You know, you got to have that chemistry and be able to, you know, work off each other and, you know, call to action and stuff like that for the fans. And I think they do phenomenal together.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, another thing I think WWE's getting right now is the Austin Theory or Theory.
Yes.
I like where they're going with that.
Yep.
24 years.
I think Theory's going to be a big star.
Yes, absolutely. I hate the shortening of the name from Austin Theory, just a Theory. I don't understand that. I mean, let him be Austin Theory. Phenomenal talent though. That guy can work, and that guy is good, and he is entertaining. The whole selfie thing. Oh, I love the selfie stuff, you know. And I actually follow him on Instagram, and he actually like legitimately posts those photos, and that cracks me up every time I see one.
What do you think about Grimes?
I like Grimes, man.
Yeah, I love Grimes. He's one of my favorites.
I loved him when he was with $1 Million Man. That was so fun. I mean, the whole To the Moon stuff is just classic. Like, he's one of those guys that you can just get behind, and he's funny, man. He's good on the mic. He's got a good look. He's a young guy, very talented. I think he's like one of those guys that will take NXT, or at least this version of NXT, to a different place one day. I'm looking forward to Grimes in a Braun Breaker. I think Grimes, you know, being a former $1 Million champion, I'd like to see him legitimately win a championship through a company, and I think him and Breaker could have one hell of a feud if they let it run with it.
Yeah, he's really good in the ring. I think he's underrated in the ring. Grimes is really good in the ring.
And another guy too that they shortened his name, Tommaso Ciampa. Now he's just Ciampa, and I'm like, wow, man. Like, and then Pete Dunne, you know, Butch now. Like, oh my God, like,
yeah,
he ruined Pete Dunne. Like,
but what's crazy is that the character of Butch, if you watch SmackDown, he's really got over with the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
The crowd loves him, you know. But now the reason, did you hear the reason they changed Theory's name, took Austin off of it?
No.
Because of Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Really?
That's why they did it.
Really? See, and I wouldn't even see why that would even be a big deal.
I don't either, but you can't. Vince's head, you can't have two Austins.
It's not like he's Stone Cold Austin Theory or something. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, the guy's a star. Just let the guy do what he does and just get in the ring and entertain, man. Like,
it reminds me of a young John Cena is what he reminds me of.
Especially when he started. Yes, I feel like that Austin Theory is in the prototype stage that Cena was in, and now he's the official Money in the Bank briefcase winner.
Yep.
So obviously that's a guaranteed title shot at any time that he wants it.
He says he's going to win his United States title back at SummerSlam, and then he's going to cash in on either Roman or Brock.
Or Brock, yeah. Kid, good luck. If Brock takes it, good luck, kid. Good luck. I mean, good luck. Brock Lesnar is an absolute beast incarnate. So good luck if anybody steps in that ring.
It'd be a perfect way to do it, though, because it's a last man standing. So if both of the guys go down and the referee's getting ready to count, and he comes up and cashes in his thing, they could count out both of them, and he could win the
exactly
and win the case. And think that he'd get if he does.
Oh, he would get. It would be perfect. It'd be good.
The greatest cash in my opinion, of all time, fellas, was Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. I mean, that was the heist of the century right there. I mean, my God, he turned a one-on-one match into a triple threat and you know, took the championship home, ran up that ramp and started swinging that title around. And the architect was born, you know, and it just, you know, Rollins is an amazing talent too. I'm a huge Rollins guy.
Seth Rollins is an awesome heel too, man. Oh, he killed. I love
the way he can just.
I love the character he's doing now, where he comes out here in these outrageous outfits and stuff, like
the Drip God.
Oh man, he's
you know, and it's weird too because like Rollins is kind of like Jericho, like how Jericho's always been able to like reinvent himself, and it just works. I think
Yeah.
Rollins has like added that ingredient into his repertoire to where like he can just reinvent himself on this, on the flip of a dime and be like, hey, this is what I'm doing now. And it's just going to work. I mean, Jericho got a pin over by clicking it, like the whole list stuff and everything. Like,
Hey, I love the list.
Yeah.
I love the list until it became the list of KO with the Festival of Friendship. That actually broke my heart. I knew it was coming eventually, but it broke my heart. Like, it broke my heart to see him have to call it a day with that. But, that's pro wrestling, right?
Hey,
And
go ahead, Dad.
you know why Jericho got so upset and ended up left WWE was because of that KO stuff. He thought that they should have main evented WrestleMania, and
Absolutely.
they put him on the second match, and he never got over that. That's why Jericho left WWE.
I mean, you have two guys who obviously are both Canadian. They both have worked together in previous companies. They know each other very, very well. They actually legitimately are good friends. So it's like, why would you not want to take a chance on that and put two guys in there, that are guaranteed to put on a phenomenal match and, title or no title, phenomenal match that they could have had in a main event capacity. But it's, again, Vince is going to do what Vince is going to do. And us as wrestling fans, we look at it, we're like, why did you do that, man? You should have done it like this. But, at the end of the day, it's like, that's Vince's company. He's going to run it how he wants. Like,
and it's hard to argue when the guy's making the money he's making. So
yeah.
It's difficult to argue with him. So,
and I mean, Jericho will always be a GOAT. He's he's a GOAT of pro wrestling. Like,
going back to the Theory thing real quick, just think about where Theory's at right now, and he's only 24 years old. He's actually ahead of what John Cena was.
Yeah.
At that age.
And Randy Orton.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, it's scary to think about.
He's almost ahead of The Rock at that time too.
It probably is.
You know what I mean? I mean, Austin's really. I mean, look where he was when he was in NXT, when he was with The Way with Johnny Gargano and them. To where he was like that dumb step kid. He didn't make a lot of sense. Everything he said was kind of like wishy-washy. And then, he's come in with this. He's a good-looking kid too. That's the thing. I mean, he looks like the prototype Cena. He looks like that young, hungry Randy Orton. From Evolution. He looks like that young Rock that joined the Nation of Domination for the first time. I think Austin Theory is going to be an absolute star, and I think Vince sees that, and I think that's why Vince has invested so much into Austin Theory.
And I know everybody talks about Braun Breaker, and I think he is going to be a tremendous star of it. I think people are sleeping on Carmelo Hayes. I'm
Carmelo Hayes, yeah.
I get that Shawn Michaels vibe from him, and I know Shawn Michaels is tucking him under his wing. I'm telling people, watch out for Carmelo Hayes.
Speaking of Shawn Michaels, man, arguably the greatest performer of all time, the one guy, man, that I wish they would have done something with more than what they did, and that was Dolph Ziggler. Like, you talk about your next Shawn. I mean, my God, how many times does this guy have to go out there and steal the damn show? I mean, arguably one of the best collegiate wrestlers in the world. And then to come out there and do what he does in that squared circle, I mean, the way he does things is just, and obviously he just returned on Monday night, I saw, so I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to do a program maybe with Theory. So
with Theory, yeah. And then he's actually playing the baby face now, so it's kind of weird to see Ziggler come back as a face now. It's like, okay, last time I seen you, you were with the Dirty Dogs, and you were doing what you were doing, and now all of a sudden, hey, here you are, and you're, and again, the guy looks great in suits. He's a great talker, good-looking guy. Like, he's got the bleach blonde hair. The girls love him. The guys want to be him. That's what Shawn was back in the 90s. He had the women folk. The women loved Shawn. The guys wanted to be Shawn. Hell, I wanted to be Shawn. You know what I mean? Just for that aspect. The guy was so good. And then you get a guy like Ziggler who is on that Shawn Michaels level. And I think they passed on a lot of great opportunities with Dolph Ziggler. I mean, one of the best cash-ins after WrestleMania on that Monday Night Raw when he cashed in the world title against Alberto Del Rio. That guy absolutely stole the show that night, and he had his little faction, AJ Lee and Big E.
Damon DeVille said they bring Ziggler in to make Theory look good. Yep.
That's exactly what they're going to do. Yeah, they're going to make him they're going to make Theory look really good.
Ziggler's real good at that. And I'll tell you who else is good at making as AJ Styles.
Yes, phenomenal one. Yes. So safe too, right? I've seen so many reports and everything. I don't know if you guys remember when he was wrestling James Ellsworth, and Ellsworth didn't quite know how to take the Styles Clash, and Styles seen it midair, and he rotated, to save from breaking the man's neck. And, I think that just goes to show you just how damn good AJ Styles really is, and again, Bullet Club, like.
Yep. Or, Dad, you have anything else?
No, I think I'm pretty good.
Shane, you have anything else about AACW this weekend you want to talk about, or anything in general?
Yeah, man, I got a couple things to say really quick, if you gentlemen don't mind. AACW, again, I'm not just saying this, but I do mean it from the bottom of my black heart, man. If you guys are looking for a good time this Saturday, Kokomo, Indiana, Carver Community Center, like I always tell you guys on SWS, go to Facebook, hit that search bar, AACW Old School Lives. You can find your tickets and info there. As far as me, man, I appreciate you guys coming on, and I just want to say that I'm very humbled, that SWS was able to take off the way it did and everybody get behind it. And I've always said I have the best fans in the world, because I do. And I just want to thank everybody for all their prayers, again, their positive vibes, concerns with my health issues in the last handful of months. A lot of support system there. So thank you guys so much, man. And I just love everybody. And I just love the fact that everybody is supporting SWS, man. And hey, yeah, just thank you guys, man. And then thank you, Chris. Thank you, Tony, for taking time out of your Thursday to have me come on your guys' show. It's been great.
Yeah, it's been great.
Oh yeah, man. Love to have you back on sometime.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, man, and I still got to get you on mine. So yeah, we can try to get some stuff set up, man.
Yeah, just hit me up for sure. And then don't forget, tonight, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, we'll be airing last month's AACW show. It's be a great way to kind of refresh yourself up on the storylines heading into this Saturday night. Or if you've never seen an AACW event, it'd be a great way to watch some good wrestling. You'll enjoy it. They have a great fans, great group of guys. We love going up there to Kokomo and seeing everybody. So looking forward to this Saturday. Dad, you have anything to add?
No, hey, the bell time, I think, 7:05 Saturday night?
7:05, yeah.
What is it, $10 for tickets? 12?
12, I believe.
Okay, 12.
Well, but then they like I said, they offer discounts for military and stuff like that too. And again, you guys can get all that ticket information on Facebook at AACW Old School Lives. So.
Check it out, people. I guarantee you
definitely
will not be disappointed. It'll be a great show.
And follow us on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all at Gonzo Sports Room. That's where I post everything about all of our shows: our sports betting show, our sports talk show, our Gonzo's Wrestling Room wrestling show. So social media is where you can find us at. Don't forget, tonight, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, we'll be re-airing the AACW show. I want to thank everybody for joining us. I appreciate all the support. Don't forget, check out our merch store, streamlabs.com/Gonzalez Sports/merch. You can find our G.W.R. t-shirts there, hats, all kinds of different things. So go check that out. I still do have a few GWR shirts on hand. If anybody's interested, I will be getting some more here real soon. Just have to restock back up. They went pretty quick, which is a good thing. But so we're getting some more stocked up. But we will see you guys next time. Thanks for joining us. Hope everybody has a great Thursday night. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time.
Gentlemen, again, appreciate